I always thought I was one of the lucky ones. Married my high school sweetheart. We built a life together. Had a little apartment we both loved. Shared dreams. Laughed at stupid things. Made pancakes on Sundays and slow danced in the kitchen on Friday nights. It wasn't perfect, but it was ours. Or at least, that's what I thought. His name is Ethan. We met when I was 16. He was funny, charming, had this crooked smile that made you forget what you were mad about. He could talk anyone into anything. And I guess, somewhere along the way, that stopped being cute and started being dangerous. But I didn't see it then. I just loved him. Blindly. We got married when I was 24. Small ceremony. Backyard. Just family, close friends. And one very loud, very glittery maid of honor. My best friend, Natalie. Natalie and I had been inseparable since middle school. She was the firecracker. I was the calm one. She talked. I listened. She lived loud. I lived safe. But somehow, we balanced each other. And when Ethan came into my life, she welcomed him like a brother. She joked that we were the golden trio. For a while, it felt like that. We'd go on double dates, have game nights, even took a road trip together to the coast. Natalie always said, "If you ever hurt her, I'll bury you in the sand," and walk away smiling. And I believed her. I believed both of them. The first crack appeared a few months before our 3rd anniversary. Ethan started coming home later. At first, it was work. Then traffic. Then no explanation at all. He stopped helping with groceries. Forgot little things. Milk, trash day, date night. And when I brought it up, he'd brush it off. "You're overthinking. Don't be so dramatic. God, not everything's about you." So I did what I always do. I blamed myself. Maybe I was too clingy. Maybe I wasn't fun anymore. Maybe I was boring. Predictable. So, I planned a surprise. I wanted to do something special for our anniversary. Not just dinner. Something meaningful. A memory. And I knew I couldn't pull it off alone. So I called Natalie. She was thrilled. "Oh my God, yes. You guys need this. He'll love it." We brainstormed. She helped me book a weekend away. Tiny cabin by the lake, fairy lights, custom playlist, handwritten letters, the whole cheesy movie deal. And she offered to help me set it up. Said she'd meet me there a few hours early, decorate while I got the keys, and surprised him after work. Perfect plan. What could go wrong, right? That Friday, I left work early, picked up the keys, stopped by the bakery, smiled like an idiot the whole way there. I even texted Ethan a little teaser. "No plans tonight. Just say yes when I tell you where we're going. Trust me. Red heart." He didn't reply. Weird. But I figured he was busy. When I got to the cabin, Natalie's car was already there. Cool. I thought she beat me. I grabbed the cake, the wine, my little overnight bag, and walked up to the door. It was cracked open, and I heard, laughing, 2 voices. One of them was hers, and the other was his. At first, my brain didn't register what I was seeing. Natalie, my best friend, on the couch, her legs draped across my husband's lap. They were laughing, drinking wine, so close it made my skin crawl. I stood in the doorway for a few seconds, frozen, paralyzed. I wanted to believe I was wrong, that I was misreading something, that there was some logical explanation. But then Ethan put his hand on her thigh, and Natalie leaned in, like they'd done this 100 times. My bag dropped to the floor with a loud thud. They both jumped. Natalie turned her head. Her face went pale. "Wait," she stammered. This isn't." Ethan stood up slowly. His eyes met mine. And you know what I saw? Not fear. Not guilt. Annoyance. Like I'd ruined his evening. I didn't say a word. Didn't yell. Didn't cry. I just picked up the bag, turned around, and walked out the door. I heard Ethan behind me. "Wait. Just wait. It's not what it looks like." That stupid line. The one cheaters always use in bad movies. But this wasn't a movie. This was my life. And the 2 people I trusted most had just set it on fire. He followed me outside. Barefoot. "No, listen. Just let me explain. Natalie was just, we were drinking. It got out of hand. We didn't plan this." I stopped, turned around. "You didn't plan this?" I said quietly. "You accidentally invited her to a romantic cabin I booked for our anniversary? You accidentally had wine. You accidentally put your hands on her." He looked like a child caught stealing. "I messed up," he whispered. I almost laughed. "You think this is messing up? This isn't forgetting milk at the store, Ethan. This is betrayal." He tried to touch my arm. I stepped back. "Don't," I said. He dropped his hand. I walked to my car. tossed the bag into the passenger seat, got in, slammed the door. He was still standing there when I drove away. And Natalie? She never came outside. I didn't cry until I got home. And when I did, it came like a flood. The sobbing kind. The ugly kind. The kind that makes your chest ache. I collapsed on the bedroom floor and screamed into a pillow. I don't know how long I laid there, but at some point my phone buzzed. A message. From Natalie. I didn't mean for it to happen. I swear. We were just talking, and I don't know. Please don't hate me. I stared at the screen. Felt like vomiting. How dare she? After everything? I blocked her. Ethan called 6 times that night. I didn't answer once. He left voicemails. Long, rambling. Pathetic. The last one was just him crying. Around midnight, I went into the kitchen. I poured myself a glass of wine, the same kind I'd bought for the trip, and then I poured it down the sink. I didn't sleep that night, just stared at the ceiling, listening to the silence of a home that suddenly felt like a stranger's. The next morning, I got out of bed, eyes swollen, body numb, mind empty. I dragged myself into the kitchen, just trying to breathe. I was halfway through making coffee when I heard the knock. 3 soft taps. I froze. Max, our dog, started barking, running to the door. I walked slowly. My hands were shaking before I even touched the doorknob. And when I opened it, it was Ethan. He looked awful. Eyes red, clothes wrinkled, like he hadn't slept or hadn't tried. He held a small bouquet of flowers, the same ones he got me on our first anniversary. I used my key, he said quietly. I just wanted to talk. Face to face. I didn't move, didn't step back, didn't invite him in. Talk, I said. He looked like he'd been practicing, like he'd run the speech in his head over and over. I made a mistake, he began. I was drunk. I was stupid. It didn't mean anything. You're the one I love. I raised an eyebrow. That's your defense? It didn't mean anything? He hesitated. I don't know why I did it. It just happened. We were alone. We talked. And I was weak. I crossed my arms. You were weak. With her. My best friend. In the place I planned to surprise you. On our anniversary. He flinched. You don't get it, he said. It's not like I've been cheating for months. I laughed, cold and sharp. So it only counts if it's repeated? If it's just once, it's fine? He tried to step closer. I stepped back. Ethan, I said slowly, I want you to listen to me. Carefully. He looked up. You broke something in me. Something that trusted you. And even if I forgave you, even if I wanted to forget, I couldn't unsee what I saw. He opened his mouth, but I kept going. Do you know what hurt the most? He didn't answer. That you looked annoyed. Like I was ruining your night. Like I was the problem. He looked down at the floor. I know I messed up, but we can fix this. Please. Don't throw away 3 years. That sentence made my skin crawl. I'm not throwing anything away, I said. I'm letting go of something that already died. He shook his head. I love you. I paused. I believe you. His eyes lit up, but just for a second. But that's not enough anymore. I held the door open. Please go. He stood there. Broken. Small. Unfamiliar. Then he turned and walked out. I closed the door behind him. Locked it. Double-locked it. And sank to the floor. But I didn't cry. Not that time. I just sat there. Breathing. And for the first time since it happened, I felt something strange. Not peace. But power. I had chosen myself. Later that day, I threw away everything that reminded me of him. The framed photo in the hallway. His hoodie that still smelled like him. The mug he always used in the mornings. Gone. I even deleted his Spotify playlist from my account. Small things, but freeing. Natalie messaged me again. A long paragraph. I never meant to hurt you. I didn't know what I was thinking. You were always so perfect. Maybe I just wanted to feel what that was like. I didn't reply. I didn't even block her this time. She didn't deserve a reaction. That night, I took a long shower, washed my hair, put on clean pajamas, lit a candle, and slept. Not well, but I slept. The next morning, the sun came through the window in that golden kind of way. I made myself breakfast, opened the windows, let the breeze in. I was still heartbroken, but I was also breathing, alive, still me, and slowly, becoming more me than I'd been in years. Weeks passed, slowly. Some days were okay. Others, I could barely get out of bed. Grief isn't always loud. Sometimes it's the quiet things that break you. The empty chair at breakfast. The silence when you get home. The urge to share a stupid meme. and realizing there's no one to send it to anymore. But little by little, I built a new rhythm. I started going for long walks. I made playlists that had nothing to do with him. I painted my nails a bright, ridiculous yellow, just because I could. One evening, I even went to a pottery class alone. I was terrible, but I laughed. For the first time in a long time, I laughed. Then one Saturday, it happened. I was walking out of the grocery store, paper bags in hand, messy bun, no makeup, and there she was, Natalie, standing by her car. She saw me and froze. I should have walked away. I should have kept moving, but I didn't. I walked straight up to her. She looked terrified, like I might slap her, or scream, or cause a scene. Instead, I just said, "Hi." Her mouth opened, closed. She nodded. I didn't expect to see you." I shrugged. "I live here." She winced, like even that was an accusation. Then she said, "I'm sorry." I looked her in the eyes. And for once, I didn't feel hate. I didn't feel rage. I just felt tired. "I know," I said. "I never wanted to hurt you. I was stupid. I don't even know why." I raised a hand to stop her. "I don't need your excuses. I don't need your guilt. I don't need anything from you." She nodded slowly. "I miss you," she whispered. I smiled, not kindly, not cruelly. "I don't." And I walked away. That night, I journaled for the first time in months. Wrote down everything I didn't say, everything I'd screamed into pillows, everything I thought would drown me. And when I finished, I felt light, like I'd just let go of a 100-pound ghost. A week later, a letter came in the mail. From Ethan. It wasn't handwritten. It was typed. 2 pages long. He talked about therapy, regret, loneliness, missing me. At the end, he wrote, "If there's even a 1% chance we could rebuild something, I'll wait." I didn't respond. I didn't need to. I wasn't angry anymore. But I also wasn't interested in dragging old pain into new seasons. Let him heal. Let him learn. Without me. My life started to bloom again. Not like a movie montage. More like spring. Slow. Subtle. A new plant by the window. A text from a friend I hadn't seen in ages. A night where I slept through without nightmares. I wasn't healed, but I was healing, and that was enough. One evening, I sat on the balcony, glass of tea in hand, watching the sun set in soft orange and gold. And I thought, this is what peace feels like. Not silence, not numbness, but space. Warm, open space that I'd made for myself. A year passed, just like that. No fireworks. No big dramatic milestones. Just slow, quiet days, one after the other. And somehow, I made it through. I moved to a new apartment. Smaller, but brighter. With a balcony that got the morning sun. And a kitchen that didn't remind me of arguments. I started working out, not for a revenge body, but to feel strong again. I made new friends. Not many, but real ones. Ones who didn't know me as Ethan's wife or Natalie's shadow. I even went on a few dates. Nothing serious. Just dinners with people who made me laugh. Who didn't carry baggage with my name on it. It was strange at first, letting someone open the car door. Telling stories that didn't involve trauma. Letting myself smile without guilt. But it got easier. Then, one morning, I got a call. Unknown number. I let it go to voicemail. Later, I listened. It was Ethan. He sounded calm. Older somehow. Worn out in a quieter way. "Hey," he said. "I'm not calling to reopen anything. I just wanted you to know. I'm getting married." I froze. He continued. "Her name's Danielle. She's kind. And honest. And she knows everything." Pause. I told her about what I did. About you. And she said I should thank the woman who taught me what real love looked like. Even if I didn't deserve it. Click. That was it. I didn't cry. I didn't smile either. I just stood there in the kitchen and let that truth settle into my bones. He was moving on. And so was I. That evening, I walked to the park near my apartment. Sat on a bench under a tree. Watched couples pass by. Parents with strollers. Teens sharing earbuds. I pulled out my phone and opened my notes app. Typed 3 words. I forgave him. And for the first time in 2 years, I meant it. Forgiveness isn't a grand speech. It isn't a reunion. It isn't letting someone back in. It's choosing peace. Over and over again. Even when no one's watching. Even when they never say sorry. So if you're listening to this, and your heart is heavy, and your trust is cracked, and your story feels like it's shattered into too many pieces to name, let me say this. You are not broken. You are rebuilding. And one day, without even realizing it, you'll sit in the sun, or laugh at a joke, or sleep through the night without thinking of them. And you'll realize, I made it. I'm still here. I survived something that was meant to destroy me. And that is the real love story, the one between you and yourself. 3 years later, I ran into a girl at the bookstore. She was maybe 15, bright blue eyes, messy ponytail, holding a copy of a poetry book I used to love at her age. We were waiting in line. She smiled and said, "My mom used to read this to me." I smiled back. "Your mom has good taste." Then she added, "She said her best friend showed it to her in high school, but they don't talk anymore." I froze. She looked so familiar. And then it clicked. Natalie's daughter. I didn't ask questions, didn't say my name, just smiled. "Well," I said, "your mom had good people around her." She nodded, then looked at me and said, "You remind me of her old pictures. Were you her friend?" I paused, then said the truth. I was. A long time ago. That night, I opened a box I hadn't touched in years. Inside were things I thought I'd burned or thrown out. A photo strip from a fair. A postcard from a beach trip. A small note Ethan once left on my windshield after a fight. "Come home. I made pancakes." And under all of that, a letter. Unsent. I had written it the week after the divorce. I don't even remember writing it. But there it was. Addressed to myself. "Dear me, I know you're tired. And angry. And hollow. But you're also still here. Still breathing. Still capable of softness. This pain won't stay. It will teach. It will sharpen. And eventually, it will fade. You don't need closure. You need courage. And you have it. Even now. Especially now. Love. The version of you who already survived." I cried. Not because I was sad, but because I had forgotten how far I'd come. The next morning, I mailed that letter. To myself. Just as a reminder. That survival isn't just about what you escaped, but about what you chose to become after. I no longer wondered where Ethan was, or if Natalie ever told her daughter the truth, or if either of them still thought of me. It didn't matter. They were chapters, and I had closed the book. These days, I don't think of love as fireworks, or grand gestures, or shared playlists. I think of it as safety, as the kind of silence that calms you, not scares you. I think of love as something that feels like coming home, to yourself. And now I write my own endings. Not the ones I hoped for, but the ones I deserve. The older I get, the less I chase answers. Some questions don't need them. Some people don't deserve explanations. And some endings aren't meant to be understood, just accepted. I don't know why Ethan did what he did. Maybe he was insecure. Maybe he was selfish. Maybe he thought I'd never leave. I don't know why Natalie betrayed me either. Maybe she wanted something I had. Maybe she didn't know how to love without destroying something. But I do know this. I didn't deserve it. And I didn't cause it. And that's enough. I've stopped rewriting the story in my head. Stopped thinking, if I just said this. If I just left sooner. If I'd just been more. No. I was enough. I am enough. They just weren't meant to stay. Some days I still feel echoes. A scent that reminds me. A song that sneaks in. But they don't haunt me anymore. They visit. Then they leave. And I remain. Still standing. Still soft. Still mine. Sometimes people ask if I ever forgave them. And the truth? I forgave myself. For not seeing it. For staying too long. For breaking before I finally walked away. That was the real forgiveness. The one that set me free. If you're listening to this, if someone shattered your trust, made you question your worth, left you wondering how you'll ever feel whole again, know this. You will. Not because time heals all wounds, but because you will choose to heal. You will choose you. One quiet morning at a time. One deep breath at a time. One brave little moment at a time. This isn't a story about heartbreak. It's a story about returning home. To yourself. And I made it. You will too. The wind was soft that day. Not loud. Not cold. Just gentle. Like the world had finally stopped shouting. I sat on a bench overlooking the lake. Same one I used to come to when things were heavy. But this time, I wasn't carrying anything. No anger. No questions. No weight. Just a blanket. A thermos of tea. And peace. A little girl ran past, chasing a kite. Her laughter danced on the breeze. A couple sat nearby, whispering to each other. I didn't look at them. I didn't compare. I just let them be. Like I let everything else be. I reached into my bag. Pulled out a notebook. The one I'd carried through everything. I flipped past pages of pain. Of anger. Of confusion. And landed on a blank one. Finally. I wrote one line. She didn't need a perfect ending. Just one she wrote herself. I closed the book. Exhaled. No grand conclusion. No cinematic goodbye. Just me. Alive. Free. And exactly where I was supposed to be. I don't know where this road will lead next. I don't know who I'll meet. Who I'll lose. Who I'll love again. But I know this. I will never forget the woman I had to become. To survive the woman I used to be. And if someday, years from now, someone asks what happened to her, I'll smile. Not because I'm proud of the pain, but because I turned it into something beautiful. This isn't the end. It's the beginning. The real one. The one I chose.